Once upon a time, in a quiet coastal town, two sisters lived together in their late mother's old house overlooking the sea. Alina was the elder, dark-haired and sharp-featured, with a quiet intensity that made people keep their distance. Leela was the younger, golden-haired and luminous, the kind of beauty that turned heads without effort. Everyone loved Leela, neighbors, old friends, even the stray cats that wandered the garden. Alina loved her too, or at least she told herself she did, until the jealousy began to rot inside her like salt air on iron. It started small. Leela had always been the favorite. When their mother was alive, her eyes lit up for Leela's laughter, for her easy grace, for the way she could sing and paint and make strangers smile. Alina was the reliable one. She cooked, cleaned, paid the bills, and kept the house from falling apart. No one ever praised her for it. "You're so strong, Alina," they said, as if strength were a consolation prize for being unseen. As they grew older, the gap widened. Leela fell in love with Marco, the fisherman's son with kind eyes and calloused hands. He brought her shells from the beach and flowers from the cliffs. Alina watched from the window as they walked along the shore, Leela's laughter carrying on the wind like seabirds. Marco never looked at Alina that way. No one did. One evening, after Leela came home glowing from another date, Alina poured them both tea in the dimly lit kitchen. "You have everything," Alina said softly, stirring honey into her cup. "The looks, the love, the life everyone wants." Leela smiled, oblivious, tucking a strand of golden hair behind her ear. "Don't be silly, Alina. You have me. We're sisters." That night, Alina lay awake listening to the waves crash below the cliffs. The jealousy that had simmered for years finally boiled over into something cold and certain. Leela didn't deserve it all. She floated through life while Alina carried its weight. If Leela were gone, perhaps the world would finally see Alina. Perhaps Marco would turn to her in grief. Perhaps, for once, she would be enough. The next morning, Alina suggested a walk along the cliffs at dusk, just the two of them, like when they were girls. Leela agreed happily, linking her arm through Alina as they climbed the narrow path. The sea churned gray below them, hungry and restless. They stopped at the edge where the rocks dropped sharply into the foam. Leela leaned forward, pointing at a pod of dolphins playing in the distance. "Look, Alina, isn't it beautiful?" Alina stepped behind her. For a moment her hand trembled on Leela's back. Then she pushed, hard, deliberate. Leela's scream was brief, swallowed by the wind and the roar of the waves. Her body hit the rocks below with a sickening crack, then disappeared into the churning water. Alina stood there for a long time, breathing hard, her face wet with spray or tears, she wasn't sure. She practiced her story on the way home. Leela had slipped. The path was treacherous after rain. She had tried to grab her, but it was too late. She even scratched her own arms for authenticity, drawing thin lines of blood. The town mourned. Marco wept at the funeral, and for a few weeks he let Alina comfort him. Neighbors brought casseroles and kind words. Poor Alina, all alone now. She wore black and accepted their pity like flowers. But the house felt emptier than before. At night, Alina heard Leela's laughter in the wind. She found golden hairs on the pillow. In the mirror, her own reflection looked back with hollow eyes. The jealousy that had driven her to the edge now sat heavy in her chest, whispering that even this victory tasted like ash. Marco eventually drifted away, back to the sea. The neighbors stopped visiting. Alina remained in the old house, staring out at the cliffs where the waves never stopped crashing. She had wanted to be seen. Now she was the only one left, and no one was looking.